This is the real hormone that will make him bond with you. Hey there, in this video I'm going to be talking about the role of a specific hormone in helping men bond with women. Now, this question actually comes from a female viewer, actually somebody that connected with me via the Magnetize Your Man group, who I make videos on their channel and I do coaching work in their private group as well. And that's where this comes from. She was interested in wanting to know the role of a specific hormone and how it affects bonding when it comes to men and women. So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. The timing of that was actually amazing also, because I just happened to interview somebody who is an expert on this. We were talking about attachment styles and how hormones affect those. So there's some really good content on that. By the time this video comes out, that one should be out already. So definitely go to my channel, the Love Lab podcast playlist, and you will see that there. There's a lot of great information on attachment styles and hormones in that episode. But in this one, we're going to tackle just specifically this hormone and how it affects bonding. But before I do that, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Doing so greatly helps the channel. I hope that by the time this video launches, I will have hit 100,000 subscribers, but you never know. YouTube's kind of up and down, and if not, I really need your help to get over that little hump there. That's a big milestone for me here on this channel. So please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Those are the things that tell the algorithm, who to show these videos to. And the reality is how people find you is all about YouTube showing your videos to, other people who aren't aware of you. So please make sure that you do that. Hey everybody, I am Kevin Anthony. I am a certified sexologist, Tantra Counselor, NLP Practitioner, and sex, love, and relationship coach. And for over a decade, I have been helping men, women, and couples have the relationship of their dreams and the best sex of their lives. Okay, so here we go. I said in the title, this is the hormone that will make him bond with you. Most people are probably thinking that I'm going to talk about oxytocin. And while I will be talking about oxytocin a little bit, that is not actually what I'm going to be talking about in this video. I'm actually going to be talking about a different hormone called vasopressin. Vasopressin is the bonding hormone that makes you want to hang out with your loved one. It's really interesting because scientists have done research on prairie voles that bond for life. And what they found was that these prairie voles have really high levels of vasopressin in their brains. Hence, they're one of the animal species that bond for life. However, if they blocked vasopressin, then the male actually would abandon his partner. And so through that research, they started to learn what vasopressin's role is in actually creating bonding. Now, as I mentioned before, most people think that oxytocin is really the bonding chemical. And it's not that it isn't, but one of the things we need to understand is that oxytocin is a non-stress bonding hormone, and vasopressin is the stress bonding hormone. And I'll explain what that means in just a moment. But understand this. If you're trying to figure out how can I get him to bond with me, you have to understand that men have significantly more receptor sites for vasopressin than women do. So in other words, we will bond more through vasopressin than we will through oxytocin, whereas women will bond more through oxytocin. All right, so what do we mean by non-stress bonding and stress bonding? Well, because oxytocin is released when you're not in a stressful situation, when you're calm, right? And this is why, people will do things like, I want to cuddle, right? Because that act of cuddling and relaxation and holding each other will actually release oxytocin. However, vasopressin is something that gets released when we go through stressful situations. So this is why, and it works like this in male bonding too, right? In the military, why do they, create teams of men and then put them through really stressful situations? Because through those stressful situations, through solving problems in those stressful situations, they bond. And when they form a stronger bond, they're a more cohesive team. Therefore, they perform better on the battlefield. But you can use that same sort of mechanism in your relationships. So, have you ever seen relationships? I've been in them myself, I know, and I've witnessed them as well, where two people start out in a relationship, and maybe they didn't just start out, but in either case, they go through a lot of life things, death of a family member or financial stress or different things like that, and they work together as a team to solve those issues and come out on the other side. And the more they do that, the stronger and deeper their bond is, and the better their relationship is. And the reason for that is actually this vasopressin mechanism, right? So this is the reason why people tend to bond if they're able to successfully navigate these things and come out the other side. Okay, so now that you know sort of that mechanism and how that works, right? How can you use that in your relationship? What sorts of things can you do to increase the bonding, to get him to want to bond with you now that you have a better understanding of this mechanism? Number one, don't get in the way of him achieving his goals. This is really, really big. If a man perceives you as getting in the way, making it more difficult for him to achieve his goals, he's not going to bond with you through that mechanism or probably any other mechanism, right? So what he really needs is for number two. Number two is to actually help him achieve his goals. So remember, the goal here is how do you get him to bond with you? Okay, well, don't get in the way of achieving his goals, but if there are ways that you can support him and help him so that you feel like an ally, an asset to him in, whatever difficult things he's trying to achieve, then that will absolutely help him bond with you. He will start looking at you more from the point of view of, I can't do this without her. I need her in my life. She's such an essential part of, me achieving what I want to achieve, right? That's where you want him to be. You don't want him to be in the place of like, I'm trying to achieve these goals in life, and she's just like a boat anchor pulling me down all the time, right? That's not going to help him bond with you. But if he sees you as, wow, man, without her help, I don't think I could have ever done this. Now he's bonding. Okay, number three is to share needs and figure out how she can help solve them. So basically, if you're a woman trying to figure out how to get a man to bond with you, is, get him to share what his needs are, and then you get to figure out how you can help him with those. I would also suggest as well that if you're sharing your needs and discussing how he might be able to support you and help you, that could potentially create the same thing. As men, we like to be Superman. We want to show up and be like, dun, 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 we're here to save the day, right? Like, we want to do that. We want to be that role and that man for you. And so if you share your needs with us and let us know ways that we can help you and support you, we generally appreciate that. Now, if you're constantly asking and it's like always needy this, needy that, right? That can start to be viewed as, she's just constantly taking away my attention and my energy, and it's always about her, and, I need to focus on my goals. That could be interpreted as a getting in the way of the goals. But as long as you're saying, hey, here's what I really need, and here's a great way that you can support me without being a big drain on him and his energy and a distraction, then that he actually loves that. He wants to know how he can help you. So by both of you sharing those needs and figuring out common ways that you can work together, especially if those needs are potentially for something challenging, these are ways that you can really start to increase that bond through that vasopressin mechanism. And of course, number four is solving problems together. As a couple, it's really great when you can sit down and solve problems together. This is another way that you can really bond deeply. When I did the interview with Adam Lane Smith that I referenced earlier in this video on the Love Lab podcast, one of the things we talked about was ways to solve problems. And he was even suggesting like sitting down and doing a puzzle together is something where you get to solve a problem together that creates closeness and builds that sort of teamwork and deeper bond. So anything that solves that problem together, it could be, searching for a new place to live, or, helping each other solve problems in your careers. These are all things that create deeper levels of bonding. Okay, and lastly, number 5, being a team. You sense the theme here in a lot of these, but being a team is how a woman can become significantly more valuable to a man than just sex. So, a man might see a woman as valuable because, she provides sex, and that's a need that he has. He might see her as being valuable in his life because she provides caring. He might see her as valuable because she's a great mother to the kids. There's a lot of ways that he might see her as valuable. But I think one of the biggest things for a long-term relationship, like, till death do us part, so to speak, is to really be part of the team. And this is something we talked about in that interview on the Love Lab podcast as well. When a man views his woman as on his team, like you guys are a team together, she becomes so valuable to him that he literally couldn't be the team without her, right? And that's really where you want to be. So, again, the topic of this video is, the real hormone that will get him to bond with you, because one of the things that I hear from women all the time is, how do I get him to really commit to me? How do I get him to really bond to me? This is one of the ways. Make yourself so valuable to him that he couldn't imagine life without you. And these are some of the ways that you can do that. All right, I hope you found that valuable. It's not something that you hear all that often out there talked about. So hopefully you learned something new and found it valuable. If you're looking for more of my work, please go check out kevinanthonycoaching.com/linked in bio. That's where you can find links to everything that I'm doing, all my coaching, my products, my online courses, my podcast, and everything else in my world. It is all right there at kevinanthonycoaching.com/link in bio.